Where are all these dogs and cats taking their people in such a hurry? They all want to be part of the pet scoop.
Hi, I'm Rod Clary. Thanks for joining us on Pet Scoop, where we discuss pets and pet-related activities. Last time we spoke with Marcy Beatty Gray, who is a member of the Flying Canines Her Dog Rescue Group. Another member of that rescue is Vickie Razor. We met with Vickie and her crew and learned some very interesting information.
I volunteer for Flying Canines Her Dog Rescue. It's a group of friends who have gotten together to save animals, and we foster our animals and keep them all in foster homes. So what we do, it started out rescuing cattle dogs and cattle dog mixes, and then as friends we were interested in our own breed, and we rescue beagles and beagle mixes. I rescue the greyhounds and the greyhound mixes, but we've had several kinds of dogs in our rescue. We do them one at a time, and we wait and keep them till they get really good homes. So we all have our specialties, and I gravitate towards greyhounds and greyhound mixes. Now, greyhound mixes are called lurchers. They are not tattooed. Most of the time they have a little something else in them, or they're purebred, but they've never raced, and they need someone to save them too, besides the greyhound groups that do it for the retired racers. So that's where I gravitate to, is saving the greyhounds, the mixes. Retired racing greyhounds have tattoos, all of them. The tattoos are in their ears. In one ear is their registered number. In the other ear is their date of birth and their place in the litter. They're all retired racers have that.
You can tell by a visit to Vickie's home that she loves greyhounds. We asked her why greyhounds are so special to her.
Okay, what makes a greyhound special? I could go on and on about that, because greyhounds are actually my passion, although don't get me wrong, I love all dogs. Greyhounds are elegant, quiet, gentle creatures. They're called 40-mile-an-hour couch potatoes, and anybody that you know of that has a greyhound, they will agree with you wholeheartedly. You will also find that most people say you can't just have one. Most people will have 2 greyhounds or more. They are so quiet and easy to have, as you can see. My mother would come over and say, okay, where's your dogs? They're just quiet, they lay around. They're not watchdogs, but they're athletes. And that's an important aspect about greyhounds. They have different vital signs. When I'm cold, they're cold. When I'm hot, they're hot. They are strictly indoor animals. They'll go out in the snow and play and run. You can put a coat on them and take them for a walk in a cold day, but they're indoor animals. And in that respect, they are delicate. They're not like a lab or a husky. You know, they don't just love it outdoors because they'll get cold. Their skin is thinner than most dogs because they're athletes. Their veins are closer to the surface. They have muscles, very little fat, and they're very quiet. They have different vital signs, and you need to find a vet that is very interested in knowing about how greyhounds are. And a retired racer has never been in a house, never been up and down stairs. They don't like slick floors. When I first got my first retired racer, she was afraid of my ceiling fan. These dogs literally do not know how to go up and down stairs. You have to teach them. Now, with the dogs that I pull, I don't know what their background is. Lily, she has had several litters. Somebody just had her and kept having litters with her, and then decided they didn't want her anymore. So she had been in a house, and she was very easy. And retired racers are very easy, but they have an adjustment period. They live in a crate. I recommend crate training. I recommend to all my people to have a crate because that's their safe place. And it allows them not to learn bad habits. So they have a nice soft bed in their crate, and the transition between foster home and their forever home, I think, goes a lot smoother because you're not going to have this perfect dog, but yet if you crate train them, or they're already crate trained, they can enjoy the transition a whole lot better.
Vickie discussed some characteristics of greyhounds that you might want to consider if you are thinking about bringing one into your home.
We adopt to families. We adopt to single people because they're very quiet, they're very bonding. These dogs are good with children. They're very calm and mild-mannered. Any good greyhound rescue group, and I hope I do the breed justice, I test the dogs to see how they are around other dogs. With retired racing greyhounds, they've only lived around 50, 60 dogs at a time. But you have to be careful to test them around small animals or cats, because racing dogs have been trained in different manners. Some of them are trained chasing after small animals, and you don't get that out of them. It's the responsibility of a greyhound group to test the dog to make sure that they're safe around small animals. Greyhounds are sight hounds, which means they can see so much more than we can see. They can see more than a bloodhound can see. They have great sight. And one of the things about retired racers, and I learned from a very knowledgeable lady, is you don't let them out loose, retired racers, because they are trained that when they see an open space, they run. These dogs can run so fast they can get lost. And again, they're sight hounds, they're not scent hounds. So when I adopt out a greyhound, I recommend, and in fact I insist on it, a fenced yard, and not to let the dog out loose, ever. An interesting fact is that these dogs can be on their fastest step on their second stride. So if you've ever seen a race and you see them coming fast out of the gate, that's why. This little girl, she's 8 now, so she doesn't do it much anymore, but she had 2 speeds. She would run in the dog park, and then as she was running, she would take off running. An amazing sight. People would come up to me and say, I'm so glad I was at the dog park today, because I don't think I've seen anything quite so beautiful as a greyhound running. I've heard people come up to me and say, you know, I thought my dog was fast until I saw your dog run. It's just a unique experience to own these dogs, to have them in your life, because those kind of things just never stop. And just another thing I love about the breed.
I guess the thing that surprised me most about the greyhounds is the attention that we get every place we go. People, oh, what kind of dog is that? That's a greyhound. And they get so excited. They just want to touch her, and she's so friendly, and she just loves it. But I think that's the biggest thing, is the attention.
Greyhounds don't need any extra exercise at all. In fact, they're great walkers. To me, a good pet owner is an owner that's going to walk their dog regularly. Greyhounds have what we call running spurts, and recently a friend of mine who has fostered a greyhound for me now calls them the zoomies. These dogs have running spurts where they'll go out in a yard, and my yard is small, and they'll run around 5 or 6 times, and they come in and lay down. And they zoom. They run as fast as they can go. That's fun for them, and then they're ready to either go take a walk or go lay down and watch TV with you or whatever you want to do. They're great walkers. They are not distance walkers. I take mine between 1 and 2 miles when I walk them, and they do great. I do less as they get older, of course, but they don't need any extra exercise. I just say if you're a good pet owner, you're going to walk your dog anyway.